Folks, it looks like happy days are here again on Wall Street. Not necessarily on Main Street, but the professionals watched the Dow Jones close over 10,000 for the first time this year.
But Pat, analysts say it shows that the economy has recovered from the recession, and many believe the rally isn't over yet. Here's reporter Jennifer Wishon with that story.
After months of gloom, Wall Street is jubilant once again. The news came as a relief since the last time the Dow saw the 10,000 mark, it was on the way down. The milestone represents a 53% comeback for the Dow since March, when stocks were at their lowest levels in more than 10 years.
Well, 10,000, let's face it, is basically a psychological barrier.
It's also the best barometer of the stock market and indicates investors believe the economy is bouncing back after the worst recession since the Great Depression.
We are seeing that earnings are profitable. They're going to continue to be profitable, and the outlook is good.
And it's not just stocks. The outlook is also good for gold, which hit a record high, more than $1,070 an ounce Wednesday. But while stocks and gold rise, the dollar keeps falling, hitting its lowest level against the euro in more than a year. The lower dollar does help American businesses overseas by making products cheaper, and that helps boost stocks. In a recent meeting, the Federal Reserve estimated the economy has picked up, and Wall Street is reacting to companies like J.P. Morgan Chase and Intel posting better than expected third-quarter profits. Although many people on Main Street are still hurting, cheers on Wall Street are a good sign, because while the unemployment rate is a lagging indicator of economic health, the stock market is a leading indicator.
We're very happy with what we're seeing, and investors are feeling like we are moving in the right direction to economic recovery.
Confidence is just what retailers want consumers to have as they approach the holiday buying season. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, Washington.
Thanks, Jennifer. And ladies and gentlemen, I told you here maybe as much as a year ago, or whenever it was, that the stock market would come back. I don't know if I advised as I should have, but for my own situation, I didn't dump out of stocks. That was a terribly unwise thing, because it was going to come back, and it came back faster than I think any of us realized. But it was also clear that gold was going to go up and the dollar was going to go down. And that's the dangerous thing that we're dealing with, is that the United States dollar is getting trashed by our government. And how soon they're going to have to come back. You see, they're going to have to restore order sooner or later. And when they begin to tighten, it can be a very painful thing, and the stock market can go over a cliff. So it's a little early to be popping champagne corks. Lee Webb has the rest of our top stories from the CBN newsroom. Lee?
Pat, thanks a lot, and I like your tie today. If you get a Social Security check each month, don't expect a cost of living adjustment next year. The federal government will not be giving the so-called COLA for the first time in 34 years because of a drop in the inflation rate. Instead, President Obama wants to send $250 checks to 50 million seniors, veterans, retired railroad workers, and disabled citizens. He says the money is needed to help them in tough economic time. He won't allow the payments to come out of the Social Security Trust Fund, but he hasn't said where Congress will find the money. One option, to borrow it, which would only add to the huge federal deficit. President Obama is traveling to New Orleans today. He's going to fulfill his campaign promise to survey the city's recovery 4 years after Hurricane Katrina. Some area residents complained the president's brief visit is just a glorified flyover. They say it isn't enough. Still, the White House says it demonstrates the president's strong commitment to Gulf Coast rebuilding and recovery. Gay marriage is on the ballot next month in Maine. Voters will decide whether to veto a new law that legalized it. Gay marriage supporters have raised twice as much as their opponents. Both sides have received many of their donations from out of state, an indication that this vote will have national implications.
What takes place here in Maine will have an impact on what other state legislatures will do. You've got Congress looking at the Defense of Marriage Act. The president said he wants to repeal it.
And the polls indicate the vote will be close. Some top Senate Democrats are looking for a way to push a public option back into health insurance reform legislation. The Senate Finance Committee passed a bill without a public option, but liberals in Congress insist on keeping the public option, which would allow the government to sell health insurance. Among the proposals, allowing states to decide whether to offer government care and using the public option only as a last resort if the cost of private plans gets out of control. But business leaders and conservatives are strongly opposed to a government-run health insurance plan. Pat?
Well, the liberals want very badly to take control of large segments of the economy, and this is one that they're just salivating to get their hands on. They haven't gotten it yet in that Senate bill, but they want to add it in there. And maybe they might fight so much among one another that they don't get anything passed, which I think would be good news for America.
Welcome to Washington for this CBN News break. A federal judge in San Francisco has refused to dismiss a lawsuit challenging Proposition 8. Prop 8 is the voter-approved ban on same-sex marriage in California. Backers of the measure sought to have the suit dismissed. They contend same-sex marriages are a threat to traditional marriages. The plaintiffs contend the amendment discriminates against gays. Federal Judge Vaughn Walker has ordered a trial on whether the measure denies fundamental rights to gays and lesbians. That trial is set for January. The terror suspect accused of plotting an attack on New York had high-level contacts with al-Qaeda. Intelligence officials say Najibullah Azazi was contacted by the terrorist group's leader in Afghanistan. That leader is believed to be one of Osama bin Laden's confidants. Prosecutors say al-Qaeda recruited Zazi to detonate homemade backpack bombs in New York's transit system on the anniversary of 9/11. You can always get the latest from CBN News by going to our website at cbn.com.